Welcome back to Melody Loves Death Metal. I'm going to talk about an album that's been out for a little over a month now. I've been kind of just enjoying it to myself for right now before I decide to talk about it, and that is the new Mother of Graves album, the Periapt of Absence. The vinyl and CD are out on Profound Lore, and then if you would like a cassette tape, Wise Blood Records has a cassette tape. So, yeah, this came out on October like 18th or something like that. It's been over a month already, and I ideally have just been enjoying it to myself, not really, like talking about it on here. I just really wanted to absorb it, absolve it, or I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but just enjoy it to myself, and take my time with it before I got on camera and talked about it. Typically with albums, I do get the promos. I listen to them for several weeks before I actually will talk about them on my channel, or if I were to do a heavy metallurgy review. For this case, I only listened to the promo about a day or two before the album came out. For whatever reason, I really wanted to just get it physically and really hear it for the full time in that regard. But I was so curious as to what the rest of the album sounded like, so of course I listened to the promo about 2 days before the album officially released. But I have not. After that, I didn't really listen to it until I got the album. I got the vinyl about 2 or 3 days after the official release. So since then, I've just been spinning it and playing it and, taking it all in. So if you're not familiar with this band, they are from Indiana. They're a U.S. melodic death doom band. This is their second full-length album. Their first one was out on Wise Blood Records called Where the Shadows Adorn. This is a phenomenal album. Wise Blood themselves actually sent me the CD of this back when it first came out in 2022, which is how I was able to know who this band was and how I was able to get into them. Since then, I've been a fan. I've been excited for new music, and here we are. This is definitely one of my most anticipated releases to come out this year. And I pretty much just knew from the single that they announced when they did the album announcement, and then the first full listen through of the promo that I was going to absolutely love this album. So let me show off the vinyl first. The artist is Kalion Stalkermans. I know I've said his name in the past. I will put that name in the description. And then this was also mastered by Dan Spano, so some things to call out there. So there's the front, the back. The glare is really bad in my room today. Printed inner sleeve, which obviously I'm not housing the vinyl in. I put it in my own inner sleeve. And then the vinyl itself, I have this variant. I don't remember how many color variants there were. I'm pretty sure there's also classic black. I don't think that these are sold out yet, so if you're looking, I know there's another red variant, I believe, too. So I picked up this one because I liked it. I thought it fit better with the album art. So that's the vinyl. So like I said, this is their second full-length album, Melodic Death Doom. They very much wear their influences on their sleeve, especially when it comes to the Peaceful 3 of My Dying Bride, Anathemia. Yeah, Anyway, and Paradise Lost. There we go. Blanked for a minute there. So very much a lot of these influences on here, even a little tiny bit, just a little tiny bit of everyone. You hear little subtle things of maybe Opeth and Catatonia, just very much, but definitely more along the veins of Paradise Lost and My Dying Bride. So those influences are very, very, prominent on a release like this, which, at this point, for death metal, that just happens. I mean, across the board. But they do have their own style to it for sure, especially when it comes to some of the vocal styles and then just the overall, really heavier doom parts. It is a very fantastic album. I will say, for somebody, if you're not into death doom, especially the melodic death doom, if you prefer your death metal to be a little bit more fast-paced, chugging, gurgling, whatever, breeze, or just straightforward riffing and stuff like that, and you don't really like the slower-paced style of death metal, this is definitely not for you. This is a very melancholic album. It is very sad and somber. There is not a single, bright sound to this whatsoever. It is not an album that would put you in a good mood at this point. It definitely is a very emotive and emotional album. And the funny thing is for this style of music, I generally don't really have to be in the mood for it a whole lot, especially if I absolutely love the album. And with it getting colder out, yes, today it is 50 degrees in Florida, and that is cold for here. So I was able to put the long sleeve t-shirt on It feels a little bit like fall today. This is definitely the mood of music and a style of music that I like to enjoy. When it gets a little bit colder out, however, it doesn't last very long here. I think we have few more days of this, and that's going to go back to being in the 80s again. So nothing like having a Thanksgiving when it's 80 degrees outside. But it is a very, very good album. I absolutely love this album. I've listened to it a lot, and every single time I listen to it, like, man, I just kind of sit there and zone out. Like, it's not really an album that I want to do anything and while like do chores or anything like that, or like work while I'm listening to it. I just want to listen to it because it sucks me in right away. From the moment the first track, Gallows, start, the whole entire album is good. Every single song is good. I don't feel like there's any filler on it. There's different elements into it. Like, there's a very gothic style of piano in a couple of songs that I absolutely love. Definitely some of my favorite songs are more in the middle of the album. Apparition has like these orchestral strings on it that I really, really love. And then it's got a very melancholic feel to it. That's one of my favorite songs. The Periapt of Absence, the title track, again, has more strings on it, more like violin, those types of strings. And then this like spoken word style of lyric voice comes in, and that's across a couple of tracks on this album that I like. Just a really dark and somber and even gothic style of music for this album. As the Earth Fell Silent is like another one of my favorite songs. It opens with a very like gothic style of piano. It has like more of that spoken word to it, and it's just a very dark and somber song. Has a very heavy doom element to it as well. Like, just gets really crushingly heavy within that song, and then those pianos again resonate throughout the whole entire track. So those are some of my favorite songs, and then like Darkness to a Dying Flame is the final track on here. Just ends in a very like very epic style of way. My only complaint about this album is that I kind of wish it was just a little bit longer. For an album like this that's so emotive, I get really, really into it and just want it to keep going. It's 8 tracks and 45 minutes long, which I always say is like the best runtime for an album. It's not too, doesn't overstay its welcome or anything like that. And I mean, the average song length is 5 minutes long. So, I mean, they're giving you a lot with this album when it comes to this. And for being such an emotive, melancholic album, some people would say, like, this is perfect runtime. I don't know if it should be any longer because it might be too much. I just like it so much, I just want more of it. That's my reason for saying that. Some of the songs kind of cut off, like, in a very dramatic fashion that I just, like, again, I get really into the song. I'm like, man, I really wish I just kept going. But, can't go on forever. But yeah, it is a very, very good album. I go in waves of really loving those older school of Death Doom albums like My Dying Bride and Paradise Lost. I don't listen to them a whole lot, just because I have, so much music and new music that I'm listening to. I don't always take the time to go back and listen to those older classics, but this album has made me want to do that, and I've been pulling out a lot of the Death Doom albums that I have in my collection that I had more that are very much in the same vein, make me feel the same way. And it's been fun. I really like I like sad death metal. I guess you could say. I often joke I love sad black metal too. And so this album was just right up my alley. It really nailed everything that I was looking forward to. And I really, really love this album. So again, if you're not into like the melodic death doom and the slower pace of death metal, that melancholic style of death metal, like, this is definitely not for you. I don't expect anybody who doesn't care for that music to like this, but if you are into that, I think you'll really, really enjoy this. This is by far, for a genre that I feel like doesn't get a whole lot of attention lately, or just not a whole lot of bands coming out with this. Death metal is very saturated by the old school death metal revival, the brutal death metal. Like, even like Slam has got a huge following now, like those more straightforward death metal albums. This is one of those, uniquer style of death. Well, not unique, like, they're not like reinventing the wheel here. Like, like I said, there's a lot of influence that they're very much, showcasing on this. But it is a nice little change from the normal style of death metal that I listen to on a daily basis. It's nice to slow it down a little bit. turn off all the lights, close my windows, put my blackened shades down, and just sit in a corner and listen to this. I have not done that yet, but yeah. So it's a really good album. I love this album. I really love this band. It's one of my new favorite bands. I hope that if they ever go on tour, I'll be able to see them in the Florida area, hopefully Tampa, because I think this would be an awesome show to see. And yeah, that's pretty much all that I had. Like I said, Profound Lore still has the records and CDs. There's also this shirt still available. It is awesome. It's got like the Mother of Graves sigil, like logo right there. It's got some more artwork over here, and it's got, yeah, it's got stuff on the back too. It's a really nice long sleeve. I really like it. I'm excited that I was able to wear it today because I've had it for a month and it has been way too hot to wear it. So we're finally getting into the seasons here in Florida where I can wear my long sleeve band shirts. However, it's only for like a couple of weeks. It usually like after January time frame, like a little bit after. It's like 1 week there where we can do it. So yeah. So that's all that I have. Let me know in the comments if you guys have heard this album, what you think. If not, check it out. I'll put all the links in the description where you can go listen to it. And I will see you guys in the next one.